podcast world, fellow horticulturists, lovers of plants, gardeners, family, and friends. Welcome to Shrubby Buddies, the podcast, friends with woodies for garden goodies. I'm host Matt Guthrie.
And I'm host Tim Fleischer. Coming at you from Central Ohio, Zone 6B. We're just a couple of public horticulturists and certified arborists with experience in education, landscape design, gardening, retail, and wholesale.
So grab a drink, polish your pruners, dust off that kneeling pad, and let's get down to business. Hey, shrubbly buddlies. How are you all doing this evening? I am Matt with 2 T's, joined with Tim with 2 M's.
Yes, sir.
How are you, buddy?
2 M's and 1 T.
2 M's, 1 T.
Yes.
T-I-double-M, and I am M-A-double-T.
So you're 2 T's and 1 M.
Coming at you from Zone 6B.
Yep.
So,
Gahanna, Ohio today.
Gahanna, Ohio today. Tim, it's been raining today. I know when I left my house earlier, I had 2.25 inches
really?
of rain. Yeah.
Damn.
Been raining all day, bub.
I think we're just creeping up on 1.5 inches, but it's still fantastic.
Yeah, that's still a good rain. It's been raining all day. We've needed this rain. It's been super dry.
Yeah, dusty.
So,
It's been dusty. I'm glad we can get the dust down for a while.
yeah, and the farmers' dust is out of the air now with this rain. So, yeah, so what's been going on, man? It's been, I wouldn't say more than a week since we've recorded a podcast.
Yeah, we'll get
But
into that.
it's been more than a week since we've released a podcast.
We'll get into that for sure. Let's see what's been going on. At work, I've just started doing some planting. About all of my plants are in, so I'm starting to, slowly get those things out and planted.
Yeah.
So you weren't with me on Monday, but I planted along Bridge Street there. You remember that time I planted 6,000 dwarf mondo grasses?
Yeah.
And most of them died. I'm kind of redoing those areas.
What are you putting in there?
So I'm using some Terra sporobolus.
Yeah, I like it.
Along with some of that plum dazzled sedum.
I like it.
And then some geranium alba.
Okay.
Running through there. So
just I got some of that alba for you.
Some spikes of that
Geranium album.
Yeah, album. So some pops of the sporobolus for a little height, and then some lower growing stuff with contrasting colors.
Very nice.
So yeah.
Well, I hope that it does better for you than the other did.
We did. Anna and I did dig out all the few surviving mondos, and we're gonna pot them up, and I'm gonna rehome them somewhere a little more suitable.
Okay.
So
very good.
Yeah. What about you?
Yeah, just got all of our fall annuals in, like the mums and the planters done. Pumpkins, we did a massive. So
yes, you did.
Me, Sam, Josie teamed up with Jay Bird and Maddie and at work and did a huge two big pumpkin displays at work. Turned out exactly how I kind of envisioned it in my head. I brought in some of Jay's artistic ability to help with that.
Mm-hmm.
I knew that he would have that vision or a similar vision to what I had and would know how to make it happen. So
they don't call him Peter Pumpkinhead Jay for nothing.
I know they do call him that.
They do.
Old Peter Pumpkinhead Jay.
Yeah.
So
and did you want to give a shout out to where you got the pumpkins from?
Jackman Farms in Dublin, Ohio is where I got the pumpkins. Great place. The pumpkins are great. The plants they have out there were super nice. We didn't get any plants, but they had really nice stuff. All your fall decoration stuff, but they have a really cool little produce market.
Yeah, get to the food. Get to the food already.
They have this little market where they sell produce, jams, jellies, whatever you want to call them, just candies, apple cider, all of that stuff. But then on the other side of that, they've got a straight up restaurant where I think they just do breakfast and lunch, and it's made fresh daily donuts and danishes and these fruit bar things like lemon blueberry bars and like
and breakfast,
raspberry bars,
like egg sandwiches and everything.
egg sandwiches on bagels. You know, they had like just all of the good breakfast stuff, and then they do lunches like, you know, cold cut sandwiches with chips, things like that, cookies, all homemade cookies. But yeah, the donuts are fantastic donuts. So I
Okay.
think
I'm
I
gonna
think that they're good.
next time I'm down Highland Croy, I'm gonna have
Yeah.
to pop in.
It's not like a yeasty type donut, like a Krispy Kreme. You know, it's that
Okay.
like more of a cake style donut. But to me, it's more of an old fashioned. Even yet, you can almost like, I don't know. Growing up, did you ever make donuts where you like fried them in the fryer? Like, did your parents ever do that, or you ever do that? No,
I
we
did
did.
not.
And you kind of get a little bit of that fryer oil taste with it,
Yeah.
and there's just like the hint of that. You know what I mean? And you
Okay.
can get
So
those like
so
little.
that's a good thing.
Yeah, I think
We
so.
like that.
Yeah,
Okay.
I like that. So
All right.
yeah,
Don't forget where I grew up.
Westlake, Ohio.
Yeah, I grew up outside of Cleveland, which is the mecca of donuts.
Okay.
So there was no making donuts where I'm from.
You
There's
just went and got
every
donuts.
quarter mile there's a donut shop that's ma pa owned
Yeah.
and lines out the door every morning. So,
Yeah, that's awesome.
yeah, shout out to Cleveland, Ohio, and your
Cleveland. Speaking of Cleveland, we're watching their preseason game right now.
That's the
versus
Cavaliers.
Chicago Bulls. Yeah,
Yeah, that's the
Cleveland Cavs
Cavaliers.
versus
Unfortunately, this past Thursday was my birthday, and it was the wild card series with the Guardians, Game 3, and the Guardians lost. So hey,
Yeah.
it wasn't the highlight of my birthday, but that's okay. It was kicked off a 4-day weekend for me.
There
so
you go.
there
Yeah, nothing like kicking it off with a big L.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, that's
shit.
about it. Just gearing up for fall, getting into fall mode. We
Mm-hmm.
got trees and shrubs coming. We're getting perennials in the ground, doing all that good stuff. But
Oh yeah, and
So-
you know what? You and I next week are giving a Zoom presentation to the National Garden Club.
yeah, is it National Garden Club or North American Garden?
It's National
Garden,
Garden
Club.
Club.
Okay.
And so it's a Zoom meeting because the guests will be from all over the
Yeah.
U.S. and we are doing the field trip portion of their day. So they'll be doing these education courses throughout the day, and then we'll be taking them on a virtual field trip of Dublin and the horticulture and gardens within Dublin. So
Yeah, it's a virtual tour of Dublin through the eyes of a horticulturist.
yeah. So it'll be fun. So we've been working on that presentation a little bit today, and we got a lot more to go this
Yeah.
week. But
We'll use the word working lightly. we started.
I
to-
ran out of steam today.
What did Sean used to say? Like, hey, what do you got going on today, Sean? Oh, starting off slow and tapering off.
Yeah, I definitely
That was
tapered off
kinda like-
today on that presentation.
So-
But anyways, we have that coming up next week, so that'll be fun.
Yeah, that will be fun. We have also got next week. We have what is it? Thursday evening, I think, at Dutch Mill Greenhouse. We're doing another one of those plant trivias. I need to get a little bit more information on that, but yeah, so that'll be something we're doing out at Dutch Mill next week.
Okay.
So that'll be a good time. But yeah, we're just, we're kind of drawing close to the end of the season.
We are.
Get these last plants in the ground and should be wiping our hands for the season
Mm-hmm.
come, I would guess, like mid-November,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's coming upon us quick, Timmy, and then winter will be here. And I'm personally kind of ready for a break.
Oh, yeah. Me too.
As much as I love being out in the gardens and working with plants and stuff, it's also nice to kind of take a step back for a minute and kind of regroup and try and re-energize.
Yep.
It's harder each year the older I get.
Get
but
the old graph paper and colored pencils out, and
start laying some of the legwork down for the 2026 season.
there you go.
So, yeah, that'll be fun. So, last week we recorded the podcast, and
We did, and we recorded a little bit late. We recorded the day, so we recorded on a Wednesday.
on Wednesday, we recorded the podcast, and it was the most frustrating thing because we were recording it remotely, and the remote mics that we use, the wireless mics, whatever you want to call them, lav mics, They work good. I mean, we're currently using them right now at your house, and they're working just fine. But for whatever reason, we could not get them to work last week, running it basically through a cell phone into like the app GarageBand.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so frustrating. And we thought we ended up getting a good recording. Finally, it was like a half hour of screwing around with that, only to come home and find that my voice was just like completely distorted, loud, and your voice was so soft that
And nothing you
I
could
couldn't.
do with the
There was
editing
nothing I could
software.
do. I could bring my voice down, but I couldn't get yours loud enough. Then yours was gone, and if I got yours loud enough, mine was just like blowing out the speakers, and I couldn't get the two tracks isolated enough to
It's
like.
not common that my voice isn't loud enough, is it?
Well, I think what I ended up reading was because your mic was on like that little green dot. That was like a denoise feature, which
Mm-hmm.
kind of like softens your voice, or not mutes, but like kind of mutes your voice. I don't know. It was a lesson learned, but it was a very nice walk. I'm going to let you in just a second explain to the listeners what it was we did and kind of what we saw and what the podcast would have been about had
Yeah.
had I been able to release it. But yeah, I mean, we still got out. We still walked and talked and got a good cardiovascular in. So
Yes, we did. We also used the word cardiovascular multiple times throughout that walk too.
yeah, we did use that a lot.
You know,
Every time we walked up a hill, we talked about cardiovascular.
I could just hear you right now. For those of you that don't know, Tim and I aren't in great shape,
Yeah,
so
we're like,
this hill's a little difficult for
I
us.
was trying to say that in case like it came through on the other side, and me and you were just like huffing and puffing the whole time, like trying to catch our breath. Yeah, but yeah, why don't you tell them where we were, what we were doing, what we kind of talked about, what we saw?
Yeah, so it was definitely frustrating. I think more frustrating for you because you were on my side of town, but we went to a metro park, a Columbus and Franklin County metro park that's called the 100 Acre Wood, and it's actually 150 acres, just to be
In the 100 Acre
clear.
Wood off of Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah, and basically it's a tract of land that the Columbus Franklin Park Metro Parks acquired in two parts, 2017 and 2018, and they've left it to be what's the word? See, because I'm not there now, so I don't have the words with me.
Old growth forest.
Yes,
It's
it's an older growth forest, and they didn't like put bathrooms and parking lots
yeah,
and dedicated trails. It's kind of just like an as-is park. You kind of forge your own trail, and it's what we consider an older growth forest. It's not a virgin forest per se, but it had a really nice population of big old oaks in it. Not just one or two. Like every time we went around a bend, we could just see a whole bunch of these things.
yeah, big white oaks, big
Big
red
red
oaks, sugar maples. The oaks are what was most impressive.
Yeah.
And a really good population pockets all through the woods of pawpaw trees,
Of
which
pawpaw trees.
which was cool because we had just done Pawpaw is Your
Mhm.
Daddy, the episode all about pawpaws, so that was
Yeah.
kind of cool.
Some nice pawpaw populations, some nice shagbark hickory specimens, and then what was neat about it is as we ascended through up and down a couple ravines, we got to a point where it was starting to get dark out, right?
Yeah.
And you could see like it was kind of bright, like almost like the woods were ending, and that's because they tapered off into the big Walnut Creek, was
Yeah.
it?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's a local waterway through here, a river, and it was cool because we went down this pretty steep ravine, and the flora completely changed, right?
Yeah, it did.
It went from like these oaks and things to spice bush and sycamore trees and
Buckeyes,
buckeyes,
Ohio
and
Buckeyes,
lots of like like perennial things, like much more greenery, much more
woods
lush.
aster. There was some solidago and there's some goldenrod
Mm-hmm.
and
Some eutrochium and
carex and yeah.
and so since we spent like that 30 minutes at the beginning fussing around with the mics, I feel like we didn't get to enjoy that part as much because when we got to the stream, we were like, cool, it's starting to get dark.
Yeah.
We're going to need to turn around and head back out of here
Yeah.
because it's 150 acres. So I wasn't worried about our survival, but I was worried about like making it back to the car at a reasonable time, right?
Yeah.
With still having some daylight. So, apparently somewhere along there was an eagle's nest we could have been looking for, but I didn't see that.
I
But
didn't see the eagle's nest. I saw the fort though that the settlers had made, a tree house.
I did see an old settler's fort.
That was a good one.
But it's a really cool, just long story short, it's a really cool tract of land. If you're here in central Ohio and you like taking a little hike that's a little bit off the beaten path, but still just like right in the middle of Westerville, it's a nice little walk with some undulation.
Yeah, it's kind of on the undulation. That's another word they got.
When we
used
were
a
in
lot.
there, I was like, you would have never known looking at these woods that it was going up and down this much in here.
Yeah, it's kind of on the edge of, I would say, between New Albany and Westerville, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So like Little Turtle Way, if you're familiar with
Right off a Little
the
Turtle.
Little Turtle, if you're familiar with the Columbus area out there on 161 East, just really on the edge of the 270 outer belt there on the eastern edge of Westerville. But it was a beautiful forest. Megan recommended we check it out, and we did, and it was definitely worth it. We'll be going back because I think that place is probably loaded with some really good spice bush that had already defoliated, mostly because of the drought that we had been in.
Right. And the spring ephemerals.
Yeah, and the spring ephemerals, of course, there was nothing up for the spring ephemerals, and I know that there's tons of stuff, I'm sure, in there. So it would be nice to explore that woods a little bit more, maybe next April and May. And what's real cool is it's 10 minutes from your house.
It is.
Like, you can load the kids up and go over there.
And I'm sure there's times a year and certain days where it's busier than others, but we passed a couple, like a guy and a gal, and we passed another guy with a dog.
Yes.
With two dogs. And that was it the whole time. So, I mean, it was nice. Not that there's anything wrong with passing people when you're out in these metro parks, but some days, like you go to a metro park on a Saturday afternoon and it's like a zoo with people.
Yeah.
It was nice to be a little bit more, free of that.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. So yeah, that was the podcast that was and never happened. The forgotten episode.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Maybe someday when we're big and famous, it'll like come out on like they'll like remaster it and it'll be
It'll need some serious freaking remastering.
You know how like Tupac keeps releasing music even though he's been dead for several decades?
Machiavelli.
It'll be like that. It'll be like
He's not dead.
Be like Chubby Buddies, the lost tapes.
He's hanging with like Elvis somewhere. And
all right, if you say so. But we are agreeing that Biggie's dead.
He's a goner.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Kurt Cobain's hanging out with him too.
Okay.
Yeah. So what else, man? So that was the podcast that never happened. And I will say, so surprise to me when I pulled in your driveway today. We'll kind of use this little segment talky thingy here as a lead way into our last segment. But when I pulled into your driveway, there was a big change.
Mm-hmm.
So you used to have a giant crabapple in front of your house. I don't remember what cultivar it was.
Neither do we.
Whatever, just one of those old crab apples, and it was gone. And you have new flower beds cut out and tilled in, and big renovation. I guess renovation and addition to the Fleischer household's front landscaping. And I'm excited about it. We walked and talked, got some ideas in our heads.
Yeah.
So I know you and Megan have big plans with this, but yeah, that's exciting. You want to talk any about that, or
Well, it kind of goes back to an episode we did last year about something about the turf grass.
Yeah,
right. So
it was the mower warfare one.
Yeah, the mower warfare. So we're just trying to cut out some more flower beds in our front yard. It's kind of anemic out there. It's a lot of grass that's not unused, and we're trying to cut those out and put beautiful gardens in and things that are going to be a little bit better for wildlife and stuff. So it, again, just straddling that line of you don't need to I'm not trying to turn my yard into this like weird clover thing. I'm bringing out my flower beds and putting like good beneficial plants in those while still keeping some grass so we can run around barefoot in the yard. Right.
Yeah. I think it's great.
Yeah, and I was hesitant to cut down the big crabapple tree because it did provide a lot of shade in our big front window. But at the end of the day, it was a super ugly tree. I mean, it had about a week and a half in the spring when it was really pretty. It had nice bright white flowers. And other than that, it was a yuck.
It really opened up the front of your house, though.
Yeah,
And
that was Megan's big thing is like she thinks our house just looks so much nicer when she pulls in the driveway because it doesn't have this like ugly tree in front of it.
yeah, and I think that as you guys redo the front flower beds at your house, and it's in talking with you guys, there's some like changes that are going to be made for the better, I think, and it's going to really like it's going to open your house up more, the front of your house more, and really kind of like showcase it better.
Yeah.
You know, having that tree gone, getting some new perennial beds in there, kind of redoing some of those front perennial beds, leaving some things, eliminating some stuff, moving some stuff around. So yeah, I'm excited to see how it all turns out.
Yeah, we got to keep up with the Joneses, aka Guthrie's, because that's what Megan said a couple times this evening. Like, I just want it to look like your front yard, Matt.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I appreciate that. I do.
It's
like
true.
It's flattering, but I think it could look better than, you know what I'm saying? I think it could be better.
I guess.
I think it will be better.
Yes, you're so.
But we talked about some different plants, the staples, some calamint, some autumnmore grass, some
Amsonia.
salvia, Amsonia, things like that. We talked about some different shade perennials, Aurelia. What else did we talk about?
Yeah, because
Some
the
different
front of my
carrots.
house goes from full sun into part, and then if you get right to the edge of it, it's pretty much full shade. So this planting will run the gamut of light. So
winterberry, holly.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be a little bit of everything. Actea, astilbe, aruncus, some goat's beard.
Yep.
So yeah,
you got a good memory.
Dude, I was taking a lot of mental notes as we were walking around.
Yeah, you were.
So I'm excited to help you guys acquire plants.
And we are going to replace the tree. We're going to change the location slightly, but we're going to replace it with we'd like to replace it with a 3-flower maple, which we need to talk because I've called all the local retail places.
Yeah.
And I just want to see like what we can do as far as getting a good looking tree. And
Sure.
So
sure.
we need to talk about that.
I can make some phone calls. I know some people.
I know you can.
I can be your little plant broker.
There's a local garden center who's having a sale right now, but for some reason that tree isn't part of the sale.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Can't say who the garden center is.
Are we? I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. Oakland.
So
Oakland,
feelings are you gonna hurt?
I don't know.
Oakland Nursery, like
Oakland. So the New Albany location doesn't have them. Dublin location doesn't have them. The Oakland Park location has them, but they're full price. Even though like all of the rest of their trees,
what are they, like $300?
35% off. No, they're almost $200.
Okay.
But it's only a 6-gallon tree.
Yeah.
Now it's a good looking tree. Like the Regals recently bought one, and for a 6-gallon tree.
Shout out Chris Regal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I will say, shout out Chris and Kelsey Regal. They bought that tree because how much we've gushed about it.
Hell yeah.
On the podcast.
Hell
So
yeah.
Kelsey went out to find one, and she found one, and they bought one.
Didn't Shinny get a tree too from listening to this? Or
yeah, Shinny planted a sour gum.
Okay.
In his front yard of Spitfire.
Spitfire. That was what she called my horse.
Yeah, you know the
Wildfire. Is it Wildfire?
Yeah, he planted one of those in his front yard.
What? Sour gum? Black gum.
Black gum. Sour gum, black gum, same thing.
Okay.
Black Tupelo.
Brian Shinniger, shout out.
Yeah.
Shinny.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gotta get Shinny and Regal in there.
Gotta get the shout outs. Gotta get the shout outs in.
Yeah, so that's really cool, man.
Yeah.
I'm excited for this project, and
me too. We need a little curb appeal.
Yeah, this will be nice. As you pull into the court, people are just going to be blasted with this beautiful home.
Because Megan, so here's the thing. Megan, we love our house.
Yeah.
But Megan hates our roof.
Okay.
I know. She like focuses on the weirdest detail. She hates
I've
our
never once pulled in your driveway and looked at your roof.
Neither have I.
Okay.
She's like, I hate the color of my roof, and I'm like, well, we can't just like get a new roof
And
because you
she
don't
wants
like
to
the color.
whitewash the brick, right?
And she's backed off that. She's like,
Okay.
I'm starting to like the brick a little bit more than I used to.
Yeah,
But at
yeah.
one point, she wanted to whitewash the brick, but like, I think this is a more reasonable way for this curb appeal to happen, other than to like replace the roof and paint the house, because
Yeah.
those are two pretty expensive ventures just because you don't like how something looks,
I
right?
think that brick is timeless, right?
Right.
So,
Well, and I think the color of our brick took her a while it's a very orangey brick,
yeah.
and you've been to her parents' house. They've got like a
Yes.
dynamic brick. It's got some different
Yes.
shades in it, and it's got some darker
And
blocks.
my house is like red brick.
Yeah,
Like a red brick
yeah.
house.
So
Yeah.
but it took her some time, but I think she's
Okay.
starting to embrace our brick a little more,
Okay.
which is great because it seemed like a lot of money to spend
Yeah.
just to paint the brick. And then if you paint it, there's no going back at that point.
No, unless you're like sandblasting,
You're
that
in
shit or
for it.
something. Yeah, that's
So,
that.
yeah.
I feel like the whitewash thing is kind of a trendy Magnolia Homes. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's something that's going to stick around forever. But it just seems like Joanna Gaines really sets these trends. And
I'm not gonna lie, it's a nice look.
no, it
but
really is. Yeah, absolutely. But like the whitewash, the black shutters, the shaker cabinets, the shiplap stuff on the inside. Here we are talking about home decor or home design on the plant podcast, but it all kind of works together, right?
Yeah.
Like when you're designing a landscape, you need to look at these exterior features of your home and say, okay, like what plants are going to work with this. So
exactly, like a house, like another new trend is like the darker homes, like the blacks. But like you can't use purple plants in
No,
front
it has
of that
to be
because they
silvers
just
and
get
whites.
lost.
Yeah.
So, and it's the same thing like with our brick. It's good because you can use the chartreuse foliage or the purple foliage, and it stands out regardless in front of the brick.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I like a brick house.
me too.
And it's a brick house.
And if you remember the old story about the three little pigs,
Yeah, they huffed and they puffed and they couldn't blow it down.
the brick house didn't go anywhere. So
no, it didn't.
I'm happy for that very reason that my house isn't made of straw or stucco or something.
Yeah. I mean, you know what houses are pretty badass? That were those thatch roofed houses up there in Charlevoix, Michigan.
Yeah,
You know what I'm talking about.
I do.
The mushroom looking homes. Those are pretty sweet houses. One of those went up for sale recently.
Did you think about it?
No, it was like $6 million or some shit.
Oh yeah,
But yeah, so people are probably wondering how that talk about what you got going on at your house is going to segue into kind of the last segment of this talk. But we didn't have like some hard, fast set topic like a lot of times we do on the podcast for this week. But
it's a hodgepodge.
it is, yeah. But we wanted to touch base some on the time of the year and what we got going on the time of the year and things that we can be doing this time of the year. And the fall time, in my opinion, is the best time of the year for planting trees, shrubs, things like that, even your perennials. So that's kind of what you guys have got going on right now. I know that what you guys are doing isn't going to be a one and done thing in the fall. It's going to be a process, which is perfectly fine. But
we're just starting on it now.
You're just starting on it, yeah, because it's the fall. Maybe
how could we have started on it at any time in the last few weeks?
Yeah,
it's just been
absolutely
hot
so
and dry.
We got cooler temperatures. We got rains coming back. You know, we've had a good rain today. We've got some cool temperatures set now for the rest of this week. It looks like maybe a little bit of warm up next week, but not like up into the 80s. I don't think it's supposed to be back up into the 70s maybe.
Yeah, and some real cool nighttime temperatures.
Yeah, so we're going to see these cooler days and like much cooler evenings. Fingers crossed we start getting more consistent rains, but with that, you know, is a perfect time for these plants to continue to grow or to kind of have their secondary type growing season. And the soil temperatures, even though it might get down to like the low 40s or upper 30s or even a frost in October during the evening, overnight hours into the early morning, that the soil temperature is still warm,
Oh yeah.
because it warms up enough during the day. You've still got good soil temperature. So the roots are still really doing their thing down there. And with the consistent rains, we're not having to water as much. The cooler temperatures, even during the day, helps the plants not be so stressed. They're not drying out as quick.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think like this time of the year is a great time to really focus in on the planting aspect.
Yeah, and we've mentioned this before. Right now, your gardens are kind of at capacity, right? The plants that are grown in them are the size they're going to be.
Yeah,
So this is a good time to look for the gaps that you've got where you need to do some edits or do some additions. Because if you do that in the spring, right, everything is a gap. And you
correct.
think you have space everywhere, but by the time you get towards the end of the season and everything's grown in, you realize you don't have as much space as you think. So this is a good time to, it really shows where you have those gaps in the garden.
Yeah, not only that, but like coming out of, I know it's not just Ohio, Indiana, Michigan, like a lot of the Great Lakes region has experienced some level of drought this season. I know south of here, Kentucky and I think even like Tennessee and the Carolinas, like I think a lot of those places have gotten pretty consistent rains, but here in the Great Lakes region, it's been pretty damn dry. And maybe you thought your garden was bomb proof and you're coming
Mm-hmm.
out of this like super dry period. 2 years in a row now we've had these droughts, and you're thinking, man, is this the new norm? Not to say that every year is going to be as bad as this year last, but yeah,
It probably is the new norm.
it's probably the new norm. You're going to see more of these funky weather patterns, and maybe you had stuff that you thought was solid and it's shit now, or it's completely
Yeah.
dead.
Especially after 2 years, it's probably really going to take its toll on some of those things.
Yeah, for example, you guys have blue shadow fothergilla planted up around your foundation.
It's
and
been
what
there for years.
It's been there for years, and what did it do after this year? Crapped out on you, right?
Yeah, and so it's like, I'm sorry, blue shadow fothergilla.
Yeah.
After you've been in the ground for 3+ years, I'm not watering you. Like if you're gonna die, then you're not meant for that spot.
Yeah, exactly. So gardening shouldn't be about like having to keep your plants alive 24/7 with additional watering. It should be about right plant, right place for the right environment that it's going to be living in. And if this is the new environment and the new climate that these plants are going to have to live in, then maybe it's time to get those old crummy looking plants out that haven't performed well for you the past 2 years and getting something better in those
Yeah.
spots. And right now you're going to know it. Like the plants that did good are still going to look reasonable. I'm not going to say that they're going to look how they do in May, but reasonable. And the stuff that's not is going to look like dog shit.
And to piggyback on that, it's a good time to trim back anything that doesn't look good. So
Yeah.
we're big proponents of leaving things up for the winter, for
Yep.
winter interest and wildlife and that. But especially when we have these droughts, there's a lot of things that just they're done. It's time to get them out of there.
Sayonara.
This is a good time to go ahead and cut back anything that just
Yeah, I had a bunch of hostas that had just
yeah.
and
you saw our
not all
Sun
of-
King Aurelia.
your Sun King Aurelia. My Sun King Aurelia still looks good, but where I have it, it gets like it's almost in a little bit lower spot in the garden. And it gets, if the gutter has a few too many leaves in it and the water kind of spills over the gutter, it gets a little bit of extra moisture there.
Yeah.
But so my Sun King still looks good, but my hostas, I had one area of hostas that they just got cooked, man. Like brown. And here about, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks ago, I just fired up the old push mower and mowed all my hostas down. I'm
Ran
like,
them right over.
yeah, I mean, they'll come back and be perfectly fine next year, but
Yeah.
now's the time to be thinking about that kind of stuff. So,
Yeah.
I've got a birch tree at my house, that leaves burned up on end. I just cut it off right at the ground. And, the birch tree will come back next year. And,
You did not.
No, I'm just kidding.
You
You looked at me like, wait, are you
Yeah, you
being
saw my
serious?
face.
I know. No, but my birch tree does look like shit, but it does that every year. So, yeah, so planting some plants, cutting some perennials back. I have got a hit on bulb planting, especially seeing as how I Spend some of my weekends at Dutch Mill Greenhouse, which is the retail side of the Leo Burby Bulb Company.
Yes, sir.
And, we're selling bulbs like crazy, but now's the time to be thinking daffodils, tulips, crocus, hyacinths,
For next spring.
fritillaria. Yes, and you're planting all of these bulbs now for their time to shine next spring.
Yeah.
From if you time it out right, really early in the spring, and those bulbs can last you, into early summer. But depending on what you're planting and things like that. But
And let's just remind our listeners something about bulbs if you're going to be out planting them and buying them. A daffodil every 3 feet throughout your front garden bed, it doesn't do anything.
yeah,
Plant tons of these things. They're cheap, especially you can get them on sale like at the garden centers here coming up soon, right? They might already
Probably.
be on sale.
no, they're not.
yet,
I mean,
but,
not where we're at, but yeah,
but they will be. And it's just like plant tons of these things because one or two in your half-acre front yard doesn't.
yeah.
It
And if
provides no impact.
if you don't want a solid wall of them, plant like a grouping of 10 or
Yeah,
15.
yeah.
And then give your gap.
Yeah.
And then plant, so you're wanting to mash these guys
You can
up.
dig a big hole and put a bunch of bulbs
Yeah,
in
just
there.
pour 'em
Just
in the
make
hole.
sure they're not like right on top of each other, and you'll be good.
Dig a hole, pour them in, spread them out a little bit so they have a little bit of space, kick dirt back over them. Done. Like, bulbs is not rocket science.
No.
People come in and they're like, I need to plant this at exactly 6 inches deep. And it's like, no, you don't. Like,
No, you don't.
just get your hole, throw your freaking bulb in there, and kick dirt over it. We do sell a lot of, and Bob really recommends using the Espoma bulb tone. So it's the same company that does Holly tone, and he really pushes for that.
What about the orientation of your bulb? Does it really matter? Like, say you're filling up a hole with 15 bulbs. Does it really matter that they're facing up?
It probably doesn't. Like, I don't think it does, because I've gone through and just chucked bulbs in, and
Yeah.
however they land, they land. And I mean, I think that bulb will figure its way out,
Right.
But there is an orientation for bulbs.
Because they
but-
use like echolocation to find
Yeah.
their way out, right?
Yeah, it's science, dude. Echolocation. So, yeah, so that, bulbs, it's good right now. You can get these handy dandy little bulb augers. I've got one for my drill. You just put it in a cordless drill. You can pick them up at the garden center or hardware store. You can get them in like a 2-inch, 3-inch, 4-inch, whatever diameter. Yeah, and you just go through and you drill. What I do is I just go through and drill a ton of holes and just start chucking the bulbs in. And when I'm done, I literally use my foot and kick the dirt back over the hole.
So they're not going in any certain orientation.
Not my bulbs, no, and they come back just fine every single year. So bulbs, cutbacks, all of that good stuff. What else have we got?
Yet, so another thing I was thinking about is that the trees along my property are starting to drop leaves, but not enough to like really have to worry about it. Blow those suckers back into your garden,
Okay.
right?
Yeah,
Like-
like as a mulch, right?
Yeah, I get it. There might be a point where if you blow your leaves in your garden, you'll have 6-foot pile of leaves in your garden. You don't want that. But
Yeah.
like right now, just blow those back in your garden because they're only going to do good things in
Yeah.
the future.
Yeah, I blow some last year. I blow some.
You do.
Yeah, that's what she said. Last year, I blew some into the garden. I mowed a bunch of them up just into the grass. I didn't bring a single leaf to the curb last year. First year I've ever done that. Mowed a bunch into the grass, which was a nightmare for picking up dog poop later on. But sometimes what I do, you know what I do sometimes? Because I live on a golf course. I wait for a strong wind, like coming out of the south.
Mm-hmm.
And I blow them suckers onto the golf course and just let that wind rip them right on down the fairway.
Take them right up and over and through your fence.
Sayonara, yeah.
Yep.
Because you know what? Those grounds guys at the golf course, they have no problem driving by and blowing all of those leaves over towards my property when they're
Exactly.
mowing the fairway. Guess what?
Right back at you, bro.
Right back at you, bro. Here you go.
like that.
So so they'll hit that fairway and just go send it.
But yeah, so as those leaves are starting to fall, use that to your advantage. you know?
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely. Cool, man. So that kind of wraps it up for us. Went over last week's podcast that didn't happen, the podcast that wasn't a podcast.
Yeah, I'm sorry we didn't get to release that. We'll put up some more photos on the gram and the Facebook of that little trip, but you know, some of the magic will just be lost forever.
Yeah, and I know a few of you that listen have asked me in separate settings and at separate times about identifying the bald cypress and the Don redwood trees. And I put a little blurb up on Instagram yesterday, so maybe check that out if you want to know some identifying stuff between the two of them.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if you don't have the gram or Facebook, then I guess you're SOL. No, I'm just kidding. You can reach out to us and I'll get you that stuff. But cool, man. You got anything else you want to add to this week's podcast before we wrap this up, bub?
I don't have anything super important or germane to the conversation to add.
Nothing?
Nope.
Buckeyes? Buckeyes won.
Still the best team in the land.
5-0.
Yeah.
They've scored a lot of points and have only allowed 25.
Yeah.
Which is really good.
Their defense is sick.
Their defense is really good. Sick. Their offense is really good. Julian Sane is really good.
Their offense is really good, but like their defense is just like
next. They take it to a whole nother
level. It's like watching a professional team play defense. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So let's keep up the good work, boys.
Keep it up, boys. Keep it up. All right. Well, folks, until next week, I don't know what next week's topic is going to be about. It's a discussion that Tim and I will have to have. But do you want to record? Maybe we'll record also the plant trivia too, right?
Might as well.
We'll record our plant trivia for you guys, and whether that's its own episode or a bonus episode, I don't know. We'll figure that out, but we'll kick that out too.
Bonus episode.
That way you can have fun with it too. You can listen to the episode and see how many of the questions you get right. But yeah, so until next Tuesday night at 9 p.m., we love y'all harder +2.
Rock on what you kick on, man.
Bye-bye.
Bye.